Urgent Dallas Cowboys fans, do not miss this. What just happened? You won't believe this one. But before we reveal the big news, make sure to subscribe to the channel because here we bring you daily videos with the latest Dallas Cowboys updates. And to not miss anything, activate the notifications. Hey, fellow Cowboys fans, if you're like me, glued to every piece of news, every game, every play that our beloved Dallas Cowboys make, then today's story is going to blow your mind. We've just been hit with a major shakeup, a trade that's not only surprising but could significantly alter the trajectory of our season. We're talking about a blockbuster move involving Osa Odighizuwa, a player who's been steadily making his mark on the defensive line and who's now heading to the Las Vegas Raiders in exchange for none other than Max Crosby, one of the most feared pass rushers in the league. Yes, you heard that right. This is a trade that's sending shockwaves through the NFL community, and I can't wait to break down every detail, analyze what it means for the Cowboys, and explore how this could influence our chances of a deep playoff run or even a Super Bowl appearance. So buckle up because we're diving into a comprehensive, in-depth discussion that will cover everything from the immediate implications to the long-term strategic moves that Jerry Jones and the Cowboys front office might be planning. But before we get into the nitty-gritty, let's talk about the context of this season. The Dallas Cowboys, as we all know, have been striving for consistency, trying to find that perfect balance between a dominant offense and a stifling defense. Coming into this season, expectations were sky high, especially with Dak Prescott leading the offense, supported by a talented receiving core and a defense that, while promising, needed that extra push to become elite. The defense in particular has been a mixed bag, at times formidable, at times vulnerable, but overall there's a sense that with the right tweaks, this unit could be championship caliber. And that's exactly what makes this trade so intriguing. Osa Odighizuwa, a second-year player drafted in 2022, had shown flashes of promise. His versatility, being able to play both inside and outside on the defensive line, made him a valuable rotational piece. His ability to pressure quarterbacks and contribute against the run had been steadily improving. Coming into this season, Odighizuwa's stats were modest but promising. He played in about 40% of the defensive snaps, registered 2 sacks, and was beginning to carve out a role as a dependable part of the rotation. His energy, motor, and hustle on the field reflected the kind of player who could develop into a starter if given more opportunities. But in the NFL, especially for franchises ambitious as the Cowboys, sometimes a player's development isn't enough to stave off the need for immediate improvement, and that's where Max Crosby enters the picture. Crosby, a third-year pro out of Eastern Michigan, has established himself as one of the premier edge rushers in the league. His relentless pursuit of quarterbacks, his ability to set the edge against the run, and his high motor make him a nightmare for offensive lines. Over the past 2 seasons, Crosby has been a Pro Bowler, accumulating 24, 5 sacks in that span, and consistently grading among the top pass rushers league-wide. Now, bringing Crosby into Dallas signifies a clear message from the front office. They're serious about contending this season. The Cowboys' defensive scheme, which relies heavily on a strong pass rush to create pressure and generate turnovers, will now get an immediate boost with Crosby's addition. His presence could elevate the entire defense, allowing linebackers and secondary players to play more aggressively, knowing they have a fearsome edge rusher terrorizing the backfield. But let's pause for a moment and analyze the strategic reasoning behind this move. Why would the Cowboys trade away a promising young player like Odighizuwa for a player like Crosby? Well, it's all about the short-term versus long-term calculus. Odighizuwa, while talented, was still unproven as a full-time starter and lacked the consistency or star power that Crosby brings. Crosby's reputation as a game-changer is well established. He's the kind of player who can single-handedly alter the outcome of a game. His ability to generate pressure on the quarterback, a league-leading 7. 5 sacks this season so far, is exactly what the Cowboys need to take their pass rush to the next level. From the Cowboys' perspective, this trade indicates a willingness to sacrifice some developmental potential for immediate impact. It's a strategic move rooted in the desire to win now, especially as the team is in a highly competitive NFC with teams like the Eagles, 49ers, and Lions also vying for playoff positioning. The NFC playoff picture is tightening, and every game counts. Adding Crosby could be the piece that pushes Dallas over the edge, giving them an advantage in critical moments late in games, particularly in the postseason. Now, considering the impact on the team's chemistry and overall defensive scheme, Crosby's arrival means adjustments. The Cowboys' defensive coordinator, Dan Quinn, will likely tailor his schemes to maximize Crosby's talents. We might see more stunts, blitzes, and pressure packages designed to free him up. His ability to generate sacks, force fumbles, and pressure the quarterback not only helps his individual stats but also opens opportunities for turnovers and defensive touchdowns. How quickly Crosby adapts to the Cowboys' defensive system, which has its own nuances and identity, will be crucial. Given his experience and high football IQ, there's a good chance he'll integrate smoothly. But the true test lies in how well he meshes with other defensive stars like Micah Parsons and Trevon Diggs. Speaking of Parsons, the Cowboys' defensive superstar has been a force all season, and the addition of Crosby creates one of the most formidable pass-rushing duos in the NFL. Imagine the havoc these two can wreak on opposing quarterbacks. The offensive lines will have to double-team one, freeing up the other to race through. This kind of pressure can lead to more sacks, more hurried throws, and ultimately more turnovers. It's a recipe for a top-tier defense that can carry the Cowboys deep into the playoffs. But let's not forget about the human element, Odighizuwa's departure. As fans, we've watched him grow, and it's always tough to see a young player leave, especially when he's shown promise. However, the NFL is a business, and teams are always balancing development with winning now. Odighizuwa's potential is still there, and perhaps a change of scenery could be beneficial for him. Meanwhile, for Dallas, this move is about maximizing their Super Bowl chances. It's about making a statement that they are all in on this season. Looking back at recent seasons, the Cowboys have flirted with playoff success, but they've often fallen short in crucial moments. The defense, despite flashes of brilliance, has sometimes been inconsistent. The addition of Crosby might be the upgrade needed to bridge that gap. If we look at the last few years, the Cowboys' defense has often ranked in the middle of the league, not bad, but not elite either. Crosby's arrival could be the catalyst to push them into that elite tier, especially in pass rush efficiency and third down conversions. Now, how does this compare to other NFL powerhouses? Well, some of the best defenses in recent history have boasted dominant pass rushers. The 49ers, for example, with Nick Bosa, or the Eagles with their stacked front seven, have shown how game-changing a great pass rush can be. The Cowboys, with Micah Parsons already making waves, are now adding Crosby to that mix. It's reminiscent of those dominant defenses that can dominate games from the front, forcing offenses into mistakes. And what about the long-term outlook? Well, acquiring Crosby signals that the Cowboys are not just thinking about this season, but also about maintaining a top-tier defense over the next few years. Crosby is still in his prime, and with a likely extension in the cards, he could be a cornerstone for the team's defensive identity moving forward. Meanwhile, Odighizuwa's departure leaves a gap, but perhaps the coaching staff sees that as an opportunity for younger players to step up or for other veterans to assume bigger roles. Now, there's also the question of how this move affects the team's salary cap and roster flexibility. Crosby's contract, while not cheap, is justified given his production, and the Cowboys likely structured the trade to stay within their financial plans. This move also indicates they're willing to invest heavily in their defense, which makes sense. A strong defense can carry a team through the playoffs, especially when facing the league's high-powered offenses. So what can we expect in the immediate future? Well, Crosby should be arriving at the team facilities soon, getting integrated into the defensive scheme. There will be questions about his chemistry with Parsons and how quickly he can adapt to Dallas's playbook. The coaching staff will be working overtime to incorporate him seamlessly, and fans will be eager to see him in action. The upcoming games will be critical, especially as the Cowboys face divisional rivals and key conference opponents. Can Crosby's arrival tip the balance in tight matchups? That's the million-dollar question. Looking ahead, the Cowboys' schedule features some high-stakes matchups, and the defense's performance will be under scrutiny. The playoffs are within reach. And if Crosby can bring the pass rush to another level, the Cowboys' chances of reaching the NFC Championship and maybe beyond increase exponentially. This move also sends a message to the rest of the league. Dallas is serious about competing at the highest level and isn't afraid to make bold moves to win a Super Bowl. Now, let's consider the fans' reaction. Social media has been a whirlwind of excitement, confusion, and speculation. Some fans are ecstatic, believing this is the kind of move that can push the Cowboys over the top. Others worry about the loss of Odighizuwa and whether the team's depth on the defensive line might take a hit. But overall, the consensus leans toward optimism. Crosby's talent is undeniable, and his addition could be the spark that ignites the defense. Finally, as we wrap up this analysis, I want to ask you, what do you think about this trade? Are you excited about Crosby joining the Cowboys? Do you believe this is the move that finally gets us that elusive Super Bowl, or are you concerned about the potential risks? Drop your thoughts in the comments below because your opinion matters so much. We're all in this journey together, and I can't wait to see how Crosby's integration unfolds. And now, Dallas Cowboys fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Dallas Cowboys. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Dallas Cowboys news. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Dallas Cowboys news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and IT makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let's continue with the big reveal. So to sum it all up, this trade isn't just a headline. It's a strategic move that could define Dallas's season. Crosby's arrival means more pressure, more disruption for opponents, and potentially more wins for us. It's a gamble, yes, but one that could pay off in a big way if Crosby hits the ground running. As fans, we should be excited but also patient. The season is still unfolding, and this new piece could be exactly what we needed to make our Super Bowl dreams a reality. In the end, The Dallas Cowboys are sending a bold message to the league. We're here to contend, to dominate, and to fight for that Lombardi trophy. So keep your eyes on the next games, because with Crosby in the mix, every snap just got a lot more interesting. Here's to hoping this move will turn our season around and bring us closer to that ultimate goal. Thanks for sticking with me through this deep dive, and until next time, go Cowboys.